cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Track to that vehicle. 55 is going to disregard.
You can add a 266. I'll be closer to 226.
Yeah, 5900 block of Douglas. It's going to be King John William 2881 black BMW with one almost.
10-4.
Clear, Kodak. Okay, 5900 Douglas, King John William 2881 black BMW. 243 dispatch, Adam.
Adam. That would be great. Just let us know.
226, I'll be out with her in front of Nationwide. 10-4.
I'll show you out with her in front of Nationwide. Forster for a tech safety call, 8565 Stitt Road near Keener. We had an SOS call from a smartwatch. 8565 Stitt 4.
420 complete.
420 complete. That's clear, clear.
Got
215 there. You clear on Nationwide? 327 Will County.
Paper.
Good. We'll be at the 2100 block of Collingwood. 2100 block of Collingwood. 327, guys.
242, B-boy.
Boy.
Yeah, 32 traffic.
Wood County 152.
32, guys. Go ahead.
Wood County 327. Do you have traffic? Edward.
That'd be Detroit and Monroe with John Victor Union 3759. It's a gray Honda Accord with one.
That's fair.
Okay, Detroit, Monroe, and John Victor Union 3759 gray Accord.
705 Lime City Road, Union Hall. Theft of a check. The check was dated 4/1. It was cashed 4/15.
Okay. 5152. Go ahead. I'm in the parking lot at Interstate Lanes. If you want me to just grab that, it's up to you. Yeah, it's fine. I'll take care of it right here. It's clear. Thanks.
8919. 19.
County's clear, direct.
What county you can show me out?
You're clear.
It sounds like there's a call taker here's two females talking. Doesn't sound like there's any distress at the location. She's trying to get their attention.
2600, 2624.
That's a 198 dispatch.
24.
198.
Medic 4 with 1 to Toledo. 1018.
Please come out at 3025 Navarre, apartment 2, J. John.
3025 Navarre, 2 John.
15696, US 127. Had a 911 call. I could hear a little bit of a male talking. Phone cut out. Attempted to call back 3 times. I'm not getting anything. If you could just check it out, make sure everything is okay. It looks like it's a Kunkel Enterprises, that residence. Okay. 215's on scene.
On scene.
Engine 21, space for CPD.
830, check engine safety.
We'll get to him.
808 dispatch trip. Medic 61 out at 12.
30 is fine. I'm talking to the caller now. I looked at the neighborhood, wasn't able to find the truck.
Main Street, in front of St. Joe's. John Boy Zebra. 8689 Black Forest.
For St. Joe's, John Baker, Zebra 8689.
921 David 51.
David 51.
13980.
David.
Engine 3 dispatch. Go ahead.
21 dispatch.
Yeah, that weather park doing a
29 dispatch. Ocean.
change oil in service. We'll have a delayed response.
Ocean.
Okay, engine 3, 1020.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's go for a walkthrough.
Go ahead.
Fire dispatch engine 14. 14. Okay, engine 14, that's for difficulty breathing, 834 Cuba Street, near Judge and Cala Lane. Channel 3. Time now 1021.
521.
521, go ahead.
288, Edward.
Yeah, put me out on parking in front of 6143 Dixon.
16, I'm in the area.
Eddie.
Okay, you broke up. Go ahead with the address again.
Parking 6143 Dixon.
6143 Dixon on a parking complaint.
720 David.
Unit 30 to south.
Unit calling, go ahead.
Medic 11, assist engine 14 en route, difficulty breathing, 834 Cuba Street, near Judge and Cala, Channel 3. Medic 11, assist engine 14 en route, difficulty breathing, 834 Cuba Street, Drive in Cala Lane. Use Channel 3, timeout 1022.
Unit 30, can you have Unit 41 call 3254, please?
Unit 41, did you copy? Copy that.
Station 11, 1022.
That's all Mary 27 dispatch.
Wait, 27.
2600, 2624.
24. 153, go ahead.
Can you show us in Unit 309 out at 722 Champlain, apartment B4, on a warrant service, please?
722 Champagne B4 with 309.
Okay, just received another 911 from that same location. The only thing we could catch was he said 127 north and then it cut out.
I'm gonna have to dispatch this here. So if you get any calls.
My favorite boxing is I have a glove from Buster Douglas that says call it Mike Tyson. Where'd you get that ramen noodle? Amazon, like $20. They got I have a chicken, beef, and chili one. There's a couple more I need to get. I got 2 more for the collection I want to go. They've also got pants to go with it too that like match all the way down.
No, but I'm gonna finish up on what I started last one. Because I hear them.
Is it changed?
Yes. She accused me of pressure. Oh, yes. Well, you gotta take that with you.
I got to meeting starts. Beforehand. I
got another one coming that says meet me outside. And I'm working at the next one. Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing both classes.
What's your first name?
They won't know.
My dad always said I had a wild hair. Yes. No, this is actually the ACLU came into that for my youngest son. I contacted them because he got arrested, the athletic director of the high school that he went to. That ordered a hazing ritual on my oldest son. And they went over it. And my youngest son saw him as he was driving to the park and was in police. And he got arrested.
Yeah, but see, he wears an Indian's hat.
And so I got the ACLU. He got drunk.
That's his downfall.
I don't know what my son got out of it, but I know that my
H-A-R-K.
First Amendment violation because, you know, if you transfer a dual, that's protected. Yeah, Fourth Amendment violation.
Good, you?
It's not his person's favorite. Belongs to security. 13th Amendment violation. I know for days and days, but the 42 gives you 82 legal federal evidence. It's not a phone to get that one.
You gotta be a Lions fan.
Oh, that's first.
Oh my God, we paid a bunch of money to go to that playoff game. Halfway through that game, I told Megan, I go, there goes $2,000. They're my second favorite. We're on the wait list for season tickets.
Ooh. See, my son gets them because his CEO. So he gives them his.
It really went up in
Yes.
the lower level, but the upper deck is still reasonable.
Right.
I mean, just what we pay for Thanksgiving. We pay for 2/3 of the season.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
But I enjoy it because I've been teased my whole life because my team sucks. So,
Well, my team didn't form the Super Bowl, my Vikings.
you're a Vikings fan?
Yeah, I started off with Lions, but then when I was 5, boy, they wrote the purple people leaders jacket, and so I switched my allegiance. So my dad was Lions, I was Vikings.
Darnold had it going for him, and then he just rolled.
He wasn't.
So that's the seats they have. They get to see all the
Players go
yeah,
through.
yeah,
Or the alumni.
yeah, going through. And Herman Moore, as soon as he saw my grandson with his sunglasses on,
He's
he
one
goes,
of my favorite
he
players.
goes, oh wait, I gotta
Herman
get
Moore,
mine.
Johnny Morton.
So the way my grandson's holding him was as if, okay, this is my friend.
How cool.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Maumee City Council meeting. It's April 21st, 6:15 p.m. And Ms. Puffenberger is excused for this evening. You can call the roll.
Oh,
Farrell,
Yes.
Discus,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback,
Yes.
Noonan,
Yes. And stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
well, I'm not gonna say anything.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll turn the committee of the whole over to President Barrow, please.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. Yeah, the council has the agenda ahead of them, and if there's any concerns or thoughts, and I'd like to start out with, I have one. I'd like Dr. Burge to explain a 9D, the facade grant, chocolate shop.
Yeah, these are 3 distinct facades, different business frontages. You granted a facade grant already for 102, which is the center door where the chocolate shop typically is. The building next to it, Edward Jones, that gentleman moved out. They are expanding into all 3 facades now. The chocolate shop's
It's completely nonsensical, and it's ever changing, where there seems to be no type of moral or even logical through line. That's what neo-environmentalism is. That's what climate alarmism is. And the UK is right at the forefront with the dumbest idea yet to fix climate change. It's time for climate claims.
It's a good stinger.
So, there've been a lot of stupid plans, right? You guys are going to like, okay, well, what could top, carbon offsets or the Segway,
a flip.
Yeah,
that was a climate thing.
Yeah, well, they were like, it's going to be the transportation of the future, or tucking your pant leg into your sock so you can ride your fixed bicycle to work, right? All really dumb plans, right? Or eating plant-based meat alternatives, eating bugs. There have been a lot of stupid plans. The Paris Agreement, the Kyoto Protocol, where we expect China and India to get on board. The point is, none of it makes sense, even if you accept the premise. Okay. But now the UK said hold their bitter because they're going to try and block out the sun. According to the Telegraph.
Sorry, I thought there was.
That's okay. According to the Telegraph. No, I just want to let that ride.
Admonish.
They have experiments to dim the sun, and that's going to be greenlit in the next few weeks. And that includes injecting aerosol into clouds to make them more reflective.
Are you taking the fucking piss?
I'm not. So the plan for the UK, and we'll get to why this won't work, is, hey, we need to fix climate change. We're going to block sunlight, and it was initiated by their newest member of parliament. There you go, Tom.
The aforementioned.
Now,
I get it.
Here's the problem. It would be a stupid thing, let's say, even if they did it in, I don't know, Barbados or Bermuda. It still wouldn't work. But it makes even less sense when you take into account that the UK is the 5th cloudiest country in the world. What's our biggest problem? I believe there's too much sunlight. Let's get rid of this. This is just a pure nuisance. The UK getting rid of the sun. That's like Africa importing more AIDS.
Yeah.
Want to get AIDS?
So well, I guess we all have to say goodbye to those golden god sun-kissed Brits. So, I feel a little pasty.
Does vitamin D help teeth?
Yes, I need SPF 4000.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yes, I need SPF top.
Sun is bad on syphilis.
And here's the other crazy thing. Again, all references available, so you can do this research yourself. The UK, okay, they want to block out the sun to solve climate change. All right. But how do you juxtapose that with the fact that they're increasingly relying on solar power, again, in the name of environmentalism? From 2010 to 2024, they've had an 18,000% increase in solar power capacity in the UK. We need to power our cities with the sun after we block it.
They don't have any guns to shoot themselves in the foot.
They run out of feet. What are you talking about?
And in the summer, last summer, the UK government, they pledged to quadruple solar investment. Did no one have a meeting?
Oh wait, were you doing the whole harness the sun thing? I was going to do the whole block it.
Well, I propose we block the sun. You think the other person like, wait, what? what about my $8.7 billion in increasing the sun capacity?
Lord Solar Power.
I thought we were all pro-solar. We're anti-solar? Well, shit.
It was their ex-girlfriend who proposed it.
They're gonna have shutters on the country that are powered by the sun to block the sun.
Exactly.
We're gonna block it with solar panels.
It makes sense, Stephen. I promise.
It's a disgruntled employee. I'll show you.
They're gonna put a UV screen like you have on your door over the entire top of the Earth's atmosphere. Quick, close the screen. You're letting the space flies in.
It's all made of unrecyclable plastic.
Yes. And it gets worse. Okay. So right now,
of Great Britain Brexiting themselves from the sun.
I know.
Fantastic.
The sun has lived high on the hog for far too long. It's time to take it down a peg. Speaking of which, I rather enjoy that. Now.
Oh, wow. Right now, it'd be practical. It'd be practical.
So an 18,000% increase in solar power capacity. an $8.7 billion pledge to increase, again, solar capacity over the next 5 years. And just 3 weeks ago, a $260 million investment in solar power for schools and hospitals. Wait. We're going to block out. Has anyone taken into consideration the patients with cancer?
It's like investing in lung cancer research and cigarettes.
Yes.
It's like, I'll win either way.
It's just. By the way, there are also, in case you've forgotten, the UK, they were caught faking climate data to show temperature increases. Okay? Faking it. And keep in mind, by the way, I will say this, at least now they're acknowledging what a lot of climate skeptics, they've called us climate skeptics, have known for a long time, that that humans, man-made carbon emissions in this, on our planet, it ranges anywhere, the total contribution to carbon, anywhere from 1% to 9%. The other 91% comes from natural processes, like the ocean, the sun, the interaction between them. We've been talking about this for a long time. So now they seem to be on board with, driving a Prius doesn't help, so let's block out the sun.
Maybe they can launch all the Priuses towards the sun.
Yes.
As if Brits needed any help looking like trolls.
It's just
it's gonna make it work.
So hold on. Let's do the math on this. The UK is trying to stop climate change by blocking out the sun, but the country is spending billions to invest in solar. They're retarded, right? They're just it's a nation of they're all inbred.
Yep.
For too long. For far too long.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Right? They're just,
this is the stupidest idea. By the way, you know how they figured out that the clouds would be more reflective if they just put these little shipping pollution from ships.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, that's a good idea. Let's harness that pollution.
Yes.
And do some more.
I say, we've been going about this all wrong. We've been trying to decrease pollution. It precisely is the opposite. Everyone, stop throwing your shit out the window.
What we should do is pollute the clouds, and then it will rain acid on our faces.
To make us look better. Britain.
Do you have any idea how confused people will be 300 years when they look upon the rubble of that civilization and try and carbon date the bodies?
There's no way.
It's melted with acid rain, just pigmentless.
How did they do this? Well, solar and blocking the sun.
Yes. Well, you know what? Looking back, I do understand your point. We probably should have picked a lane. By the way, if you're watching on Rump, download the app, follow us. That's the best way to stay in touch. You will be notified when we are live. You don't have to worry about algorithms like you do with YouTube. Download the app, follow us. You can watch live anywhere. And
I figured it out.
Lineup. It just continues from show to show. Let's go on to the next. This is really just a show in idiocy, which I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad we get to do today because I'm not at 100%.
It fits.
Do you remember this broad Clarissa Ward?
No.
Yes.
Thank you. He's a good foil. So if you fabricated, let me ask you this: if you completely fabricated, let's say where you work, some kind of a report, I don't know, maybe an Excel sheet, or you just made up something at work that misled all of the employees, or if you made up something that was used to mislead millions of people, no, you'd expect to face repercussions, like likely being fired.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you remember this. When it happened, Clarissa Ward, right? She was out there. She did this story where she found this Syrian rebel, right? She found the Syrian rebel who was starving and in prison, and she was the only person who found this guy, and she had an exclusive scoop. Now, as it was happening, we were joking about how there's no way this was true. Spoiler alert, we found out not long after that it was completely false. But let's go back in time so you can see that we didn't buy it then. So CNN released this really weird video. A lot of people think this is fake, and by that, I mean it's allegedly fake, and by that, I mean it's clearly fake. Clarissa Ward just happened to discover a prisoner of the Assad regime. So watch this and tell me if it feels a little professional wrestling.
Is someone there?
But pause. They're already in the cell. They're already in the Ollie oxen free. That is a perfectly trimmed beard right there.
Yeah, that's not. I've been in here for 3 months without care.
Yeah. Just think about. By the way, when they're in there, there's a camera. They already blew off the lock with gunfire, and they're in there.
I don't think it actually happened. You don't tell them.
They're in there with a boom mic, with a line producer, and he's just like, no, I'm counting sheep. I use the term counting loosely.
We found out 2+3 sleep.
Yes. Body count.
Hey, I left these sheep with smiles on their faces. Now,
why are you Russian?
I don't know.
The sheep call me a bad boy.
It's terrible.
So 1 week after that broadcast, turned out the story was completely bullcrap.
Nice.
Yeah, turned out
it the next
completely
day.
bullcrap. And you would think consequences? Well, no, actually, now Clarissa Ward is back in action. This time reporting on the Pope's death at the Vatican. She's gotten the rights to that, where we can assume that she has the early scoop on who the Cardinals plan to elect Pope.
Okay.
That's all we have for that story, in case you were wondering.
We just last Pope indeed.
I just want to remind you that everything is a lie on legacy media, and you should trust none of it. So when people now are like, oh, we need authorities and experts, I get it. Clickbait is a problem. That's a worse problem, CNN. It's a worse problem, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, because once upon a time, you couldn't refute them with the truth. So remember, when you think Clarissa Ward, think compulsive liar who still has a job. Which brings me to my question. What do you want to see Clarissa Ward cover next?
Her face. But listen, I think that wasn't even the first time that she'd been caught lying.
No,
I believe when we covered the story the first time in December that we had talked about another story that she previously lied about. What's that, Gerald?
In Israel, she was saying that they were shelling, and she got down in the ditch and like, oh, they're firing. And it was like miles away.
Yeah. This lady is so forgettable. CNN forgot that they even hired her before. They're like, shit.
She pitched a new story about running around with Tom Hanks to find the antimatter in, the Vatican. So
yes. With this crappy ponytail or whatever it was.
Yeah.
This is, yes. By the way, she's posed. Look at this.
Should I have
Michelangelo. I'm touching God.
Should I have my arm out or should I have it? Hey, put it out. Stop smiling so much.
Yeah,
Stop
she's
smiling.
worse
Looks sad.
like the weatherman that goes out there and the hurricane is like, and the winds are blowing, and there's two people walking calmly.
I know. Look at I barely made it out alive.
Meanwhile, the cameraman's in cargo shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Eating a Slim Jim.
Whatever. Clarissa is on his job again.
Clarissa lies about it all. So, and I will say this, we have an admonish button here, right? We make the references publicly available. We were talking yesterday about transparency. Like, we've gotten things wrong. Like, I confused the Greenland shark and the six-gill shark, and I rightfully was raked over the coals. That is very different from staging, lying about, releasing, and defending a false story of a Syrian rebel as an exclusive scoop. Do you guys see that one is actually, like, people get things wrong all the time. That happens. Every single one. If you're watching, you've gotten something wrong. Of course it happens. And the best you can do is try and apologize for it and try and do better the next time and have a winning record as it relates to being right. These people have no sense. They have no sense of responsibility to the truth at all. It doesn't even factor in. All right. Let's go on to President Trump and the Ukraine-Russia offer right now. Let me just sort of explain this to you because it's hard. And it's even hard for me, and of course, Lane the Brain here has done a great job. It kind of started with the mineral rights deal yesterday as I was reading up on it, and I was delirious where I thought I was being chased by Canadian geese in my bed last night.
What?
Yeah, well, I'm dehydrated. So, to sort of put this in a nutshell, President Trump counted to 3. That's the deal that we're looking at right now. He counted to 3, and he's decided, all right, this is final offer for the Russia-Ukraine deal. You guys need to start hashing it out, which brings us to insane in the Ukraine.
Insane of the Ukraine. Insane of the Ukraine.
I always get Ukraine fatigue, and then I see that stinger. I'm like, okay, I could go one more.
Because we didn't make that.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
That was him.
We didn't do that.
That was him.
So I know everyone is tired. This whole situation, the negotiation, it's turned into a quagmire, right? Russia, Ukraine. It seems like we could be at the end of the road here because luckily we have sent the best man for the job on the ground in Kyiv.
We spent nearly $200 billion to the defense of Ukraine. There are lots of questions about where the money is going.
There's nothing to hide. We're absolutely open.
Would an audit be possible by the United States of where those dollars are going?
We are kind of the living shield against Russia's invasion to the civilized world.
I want to get to Russia's intentions and the possibilities of a ceasefire.
Which prompted Putin to immediately launch all remaining missiles. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Did Zelensky say that he's the shield protecting us from Russia?
Yeah.
Apparently.
I hope Ben does a good job with that. I just hope he did you just say you're a shield? That's retarded, sir. Like,
you're a human shield.
You mean cannon fodder?
I mean, let's just see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens. But no one's a fan of this guy at this point, Zelensky. And no, it doesn't mean that you're a fan of Putin either. But Wednesday, and we'll get into the points of the deal, go through it point by point. Hopefully it helps you understand a little bit better. I actually think this is pretty good kind of final offer, in my opinion.
Pretty reasonable.
Donald Trump, Zelensky got into another blow up, this time over. And the problem with Zelensky is this guy's never consistent. He kind of does a handshake deal and then changes it. This time there was another blow up over Crimea.
Trump versus Zelensky, round 2. President Trump accusing Ukrainian President Zelensky of, quote, inflammatory statements today in a lengthy social media post after Zelensky reiterated he would not concede any territory to Russia, including Crimea, which was annexed in 2014 during the Obama administration.
Look, I don't like Putin. I don't like what Russia is doing. I don't like us sending money to Ukraine. But I will tell you what I really, 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 really don't like is Zelensky acting like he's in a position to be making demands on anything.
And then blaming us for not being able to secure your peace deal.
Right. We will not give up any land. Want to bet?
Yeah. It's a good thing you don't want to give that back. Russia didn't ask you.
No.
They took it.
Yeah.
Why do we live in this fantasy world where anything belongs to anybody? It is yours if you can keep it. I hate that that's the rule of the road, but it is. Our Constitution is literally a piece of paper that is useless unless we can enforce it, unless we can defend it. That's it.
Yes, exactly.
Stop with the games.
They start with the premise of it is ours if the U.S. will pay for us to keep it. Yes, you pay. You pay. By the way, we demand A, B, C, D. How about you demand nothing? Shut up. And take it and like it and say, thank you, sir. Please. Thank you. These are the words that we want to hear, Zelensky. And Putin, I get it. Putin, not a good guy, bad guy. But you are just a prick. You're just a prick.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, President Trump wrote this on Truth Social. He wrote, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is boasting on the front page of the Wall Street Journal that Ukraine will not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There's nothing to talk about here. This statement is very harmful to the peace negotiations with Russia, in that Crimea was lost years ago under the auspices of President Barack Hussein Obama. His middle name is Hussein. It's Hussein. A lot of people didn't know that. They say, no, that's not his middle. I say it is. It is not even a point of discussion. Nobody is asking Zelensky to recognize Crimea as Russian territory, but if he wants Crimea, why didn't they fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a shot being fired? It's inflammatory statements like Zelensky's that makes it so difficult to settle this war. He has nothing to boast about. Nothing. I know some people think he has some things. Nothing. I have nothing to do with Russia, because he knows what they're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
But have much to do with wanting to save, on average, 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week who are dying for no reason whatsoever. I look forward to being able to help Ukraine and Russia get out of this complete and total mess that would have never started if I were president. And we'll get to the deal. Saying Ukraine will not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea does not make it true. Kind of like how Josh refuses to legally recognize the restraining order filed against him by Hooters. You can, it's still there.
I just go there for the mashed potatoes.
It's still a thing.
Open the door.
What?
What was that?
I didn't even hear what
was
he said.
Was that me?
Open the door.
Oh. And so here's the thing, too. I will say this. In in Putin's defense, I know right away people are going to go nuts.
I know.
Putin seems to be, like him or hate him, seems to be pretty clear about the terms. He's been pretty consistent. You may not like the terms as far as what he expects with the lines where they are right now, what territory he expects, what he's willing to compromise on. Like, he's been, for everyone saying you can't trust this guy at all, he's been more consistent. Not saying he has been entirely consistent. He's been more consistent on his terms and coming to the table than Zelensky. You remember the last blow-up, right? Zelensky was minutes away from a deal that day until he decided to be, again, I'm sorry for the language, a total prick. So last night, President Trump did say that he thought he was close to a deal, at this point with at least Russia.
I will say that I think Russia is ready, and a lot of people said Russia wanted to go for the whole thing. And I think we have a deal with Russia. We have to get a deal with Zelensky, and I hope that Zelensky, I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky. So far, it's been harder, but that's okay. It's all right. But I think we have a deal with both.
Okay, now before you say, oh, he's only praising Russia because he's a shill for Putin. He wrote this morning on Truth Social, he wrote, I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary, very bad timing. Vladimir, stop! 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. So here's the thing. He is being consistent in saying, you need to stop the dying and you need to stop the dying. You may not like where he lines up on territories, where he lines up on mineral rights, where he lines up on NATO. He has been remarkably consistent. Can we all agree in saying, you need to stop the death as best you can, and so do you?
Since last year, I mean, even before last year, since 2 years ago, he's been saying the same thing.
Right.
That the dying needs to stop. That's been his clear.
Right.
Because it's obvious there's not a military solution for Ukraine. Russia cannot take over Ukraine. We've seen that. Ukraine cannot get Russia to get out of their country. We've seen that.
No, and it's like the only way Ukraine wins is if the U.S. lets our soldiers die.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's it.
And I actually disagree with one statement you just made. Russia absolutely could take Ukraine if they didn't get any more aid from us. They'd go alone.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the point. That's also because that's important because that rug needs to be pulled if we want the dying to stop. I've talked about how false empathy creates real victims. This idea that, hey, Ukraine, they need more. Isn't it? It's terrible. People are dying. Okay, sure. So we've given them basically a blank check, right? Has it stopped the dying? Or has it led to more dying? Let's be honest here, right? Everyone was playing on the string of empathy, and sure. We saw what happened. You felt horrible for the people in Ukraine, the freedom fighters, people who wanted to protect their country, their hair. I get that. I also understand why some Russian people would feel galvanized. Doesn't mean that I agree with them, but all of our money.
In the first year, you go, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they invaded. Yeah, hey, here's some missiles. Here's some guns. Here's some tanks.
Yep.
Go kick some ass. Go take your country back. But then after 3 years.
Right.
And multiple deal after multiple deal.
And offensives that
turned down. You're like, well, hey.
Yeah. Now the United States, our funding, because it's more than all of these European nations combined, it is the foundation, it's the premise for Ukraine to continue the dying, to continue the kidnapping of their own citizens, including in some cases people who really have no business being in the military, to throw them to the front lines of the meat grinder. They can't do that without our constant funding. So please tell me how that's compassionate. Please, you can comment below. Honestly, the alternative, if it's the worst case alternative, that it were to become a part of Russia, I still would say less death. Now, I'm not saying that that's right, but what I am saying is you need to know that your dollars have funded a giant death machine. That is inescapable. So let me ask you this. This is the final peace plan. Is it actually only screwing the Ukraine as the leftists are writing out there right now? This is from The Atlantic. It says, Trump's proposal to end the war isn't a peace plan. It's a reward for aggression. Just that premise before we get to the points. There's no reward for aggression from a third-party nation throughout human history. You understand that. You know what the reward is for aggression? The spoils of war.
Yeah.
Right? That's the reward for aggression. In other words, if the United States did not help intercede financially, Russia would already have their rewards. So this is, if anything, this is a curtailed form of spoils of war. They're not getting as much as they would get if we didn't get involved. Ukraine versus, take everyone else out. Ukraine, Russia, guess what? They're Russia. They are Russia. That's what happens historically.
A reward for aggression would be a U.S.-sponsored coup not like 2014, and then giving all of Ukraine
right
to Russia. That would be a reward for aggression.
Right. So, and I always go back to Barack Obama telling Mitt Romney the 1980s called "I want their policy back" when he said that Russia was a threat. So they've completely flipped. All right. So let's go through these points, and we're actually going through the points of this final peace plan. You can go and check the reference and read it yourself. Point number 1 is it requires an immediate ceasefire. So Putin reportedly told Steve Witkoff that he was willing to freeze the invasion at the current lines. So that would be, at this point in time, good for both.
Yes, because Putin hasn't agreed to a ceasefire yet.
Right.
He hasn't really been willing to do that. So that's good.
Yeah.
Freeze it where it is right now and stop people dying.
Freeze the lines where they are right now. Now, I would bet you Zelensky would be like, we want the lines to move back to right where it was before. We lost all this. Wait a minute, you lost a lot of stuff, so you have to compromise. We will not compromise. Okay, no more money. Oh. Point number 2, that there need to be direct talks between Ukraine and Russia, meaning we're going to be out of this now. This is not our job. You guys have to start dealing with each other. Grow up. You two go into the room and settle it.
It's like two kids fighting all the time. You're like, I've tried to intervene.
Yeah.
You guys figure it out.
I would ask you this, what's the alternative? Keep doing what we're doing?
Right.
And by the way, it's impossible to do with someone like Zelensky. I will go to table negotiate. All right, look, here's a very long table. Putin had it imported. He's like, no, now I want to change the deal. Okay, so you guys hash it out. Take us out of it. Point number 3, of course, Ukraine would not be able to join NATO, which Russia has said for a very that is their red line. They've been concerned about it. Whether you believe them or not, okay, but they have said that's a non-negotiable. So Ukraine, no NATO, but they can look for admission to the EU. So in February 2025, the Russian Foreign Minister Dmitry Peskov said that Ukraine has the sovereign right to join.
So they should be good with
that's from him. That's from a Russian spokesperson, effectively themselves. And Trump, this plan would I guess include some pretty robust security guarantees from EU nations as well, if this were to happen. So no NATO, yes EU, okay. Verdict here. What's the alternative? This is probably the best compromise for Ukraine. If Ukraine throws a fit, if Zelensky throws a fit, that means he wants NATO, which means he wants all of the things. You guys understand that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get to the point where Zelensky's like, we need to be able to join NATO, you understand that that is saying we will make no concessions or compromises with Russia, who, by the way, have largely kicked our ass. It's delusional.
Yeah, and it may be good for Ukraine to be a part of NATO, but it's not good for the rest of the world, certainly not good for Europe to have Ukraine as NATO at that point, because if that's the case right now, then we are technically supposed to be at war with Russia.
Right. Yeah. Point number 4, as far as the territory, and this is a big one, right? So Russia would sort of keep their de facto control of the gains that they've seen in eastern Ukraine. Ukraine would still have access to the Dnipro River and the Zaporizhia nuclear, the Dnipro River, the Zaporizhia power plant, the nuclear power plant would actually be transferred to American control.
Yeah.
That's a big one, right? That's a pretty big one. As I understand it, too, I don't know, because last time we covered this, that's just outside the lines of Ukrainian control.
Yeah, so the lines wouldn't freeze exactly where they are right now. They would move around just a little bit, but it is not obviously not going back to pre-invasion.
Well, they'd move around, for example, if you give American control, that would mean that Russia would be giving that up.
Yeah, they'd have to push that back.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Alternative is, Ukraine, take your chances with Russia having control of the nuclear plant. There would be a formal recognition of Russian control over Crimea, which I bet you is going to be a sticking point, of course, with Zelensky. Trump was, of course, strategically vague about this point when he talked about it last night in the Oval Office.
Deal that you have with Russia, does it include recognizing Russia's sovereignty over Crimea?
All right, guys, heading over. Everything is good. Look, I just want to see the war end. I don't care. If they're both happy, they both sign an agreement. I have no favorites. I don't want to have any favorites. I want to have a deal done.
So that ends up being obviously better off. It's better for Russia, but Ukraine has they have no hand to play here. It's necessary for
What's
them.
the alternative? That's people are looking at this like in this very myopic way. Like, oh, okay, well, if we could just have Russia get out, they're the aggressor. Fine. We asked them. They said no. What now? Same thing on the Crimea. It's been over a decade. What do you guys?
It's counterproductive.
What do
It
you
was
want?
8 years between Crimea being taken and Ukraine being invaded by Russia again.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it was before your time. Now you're here. You took office. Did you campaign on that? Did you campaign on taking Crimea back?
Did you build up your military in an effort to do that? Did you start kind of strengthening your alliances to prevent an invasion that would further? I mean, what steps did they take, and why are we where we are today?
Do you know what the truth is? Not a single other nation has effectively built up their military to the capacity that they need. Only the United States, because it's all been predicated on the United States picking up the slack.
Yeah.
Screw you, rest of the world, militarily. Start taking care. Start owning your own shit. All right. Point number 5 in this deal, completely unclear. I'm sorry, I can make no sense of it. So you can go and read it. I'm going through this point by point.
We don't want to get admonished.
No, I don't want to get admonished. I'm just letting you know. Someone can comment and let me know what it is that it just seems very difficult to.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody really understands it.
Point number 6 in this deal, of course, Ukraine would sign the mineral rights deal with the United States. That would be great for Ukraine because the United States would have a vested interest, sort of a de facto security interest in protecting these mineral rights with Ukraine.
Yes.
Now, remember, this was a sticking point before where Zelensky was like, we will not do this. We will always keep our minerals. Really? Okay. Hey, there are the Russians. No more money. Good luck.
They took your minerals, by the way.
Yes. We will always have our mineral. Where'd they go?
Oh, no. This was the thing that bothered me, I guess, the most about this is that this obviously gave them security guarantees. It gave them time.